happening?
Hi.
Good evening. It's nice to see some of you that we've met already and some of whom we're meeting for the first time. Thanks for your invitation. Guys, I really appreciate it. We really appreciate it. So we are Meredith and Felix Pizzi. Where are we from? I'm originally from Argentina. Born there. Came here for college. Promised a good friend that I would never date an American girl. I broke my promise, unfortunately. And Meredith is from Nashville. So we met in Pittsburgh. We got married 14 years ago. And we have 3 kiddos, 11, 9, and 6. And we live in Londonderry currently for the last 2.5 years, and we were in Massachusetts before that.
We are very happy to be part-time parishioners at St. Mark's. As Father Mike knows, we are also parishioners at St. Matthew's in Wyndham, New Hampshire, but have been happily attending St. Mark's as well. So we have some kids in CCD at St. Matthew's, some kids at St. Mark's, and so we're a happy family, and we go wherever we can. We want to make this, as Father Mike said, real and tangible for you, and share just some of our story and our experience of how we have experienced God within our marriage, and also our family in the context of church. And we want to share some of that with you to make it as real and approachable as possible. We will share some stories about our children and our own family's experience. If you don't have children, we encourage you to think about others in your closest circle. Maybe it's other family friends, maybe it's other neighbors or neighbors' children or others that you have connected with. We want you to think about how our stories relate to your story, whatever that might be. So we want to share a little image with you of a Saturday morning in our house a couple of years ago. This is when we were still in Massachusetts, and we kind of finished our breakfast, everybody settled down, and the kids get themselves organizing something. And at this point, they're little toddlers and early school agers. And a broom is disappearing, and some cloth is disappearing, and somebody's coming down the stairs, and we hear church songs, and our children have created the Mass. So one is the priest, complete with a stole around the neck. Another is the altar server with a broom upside down, walking down the stairs. And the other one pulled out the missal from the church and is standing on the stairs in the choir loft. And so we have the entire Mass being played out in our home. And we're just observing this. There's nothing that we've created. There's nothing that we've asked them to do. This is our children experiencing play. In the way that all kids learn and experience what's going on around them, they are playing church. And they take turns, who's who, and we're singing Hallelujah, and we're reading the readings, and we sing the Psalms, and we go through the whole thing. So when we say our children live church, they really do live church. At this point, we have an 11-year-old, and if any of you have had 11-year-olds, and particularly 11-year-old girls, I don't know. Right now, we get what are you, saints? Are you saints in training? And now we just get the saints in training complaint. And we say, yes, dear, we're all saints in training. So we now have taken that route. But we've been through many of these stages. But this is our little church. This little family of 5. This marriage of 2. This is our little church. Beyond the physical walls of any parish we've belonged to, whether it's this building or that building, it's beyond the building itself. But yet it's full of life, full of compassion, full of passion, full of mercy. Just as the big church is, the body of Christ. We remember very early on in our marriage, another couple introduced us to this concept of little church, that our marriage is the little church. And we really have tried to live this out, both in our marriage and our sacramental commitment to each other, and also in our family life. Because we have come to see that we are church. We, Felix and I, we are church. And the Pizzi family, we are church. We are the only experience that some people have of church. Now, our kids are in public school and they know now who goes and who doesn't go to church. And they know who's in CCD but doesn't go to church. Why do we have to go to church every Sunday morning? They don't go to church every Sunday morning. Do we have to go to church this Sunday? Can't we just skip it this Sunday? No, we're going to church.
I asked the same question.
Well, we are that experience of church for so many people around us. So church is not just the walls, it's not just the building, but as was spoken earlier so beautifully, it's the relationships. It is the relationships between the people of God, the people who bring God's presence to earth. The sign of God's love as the sacrament of marriage is one way that we can share that expression of God's love and what we really try to do in all of our lives. So these characteristics of the church, love, generosity, forgiveness, passion and mercy and all of those things we talked about, they are life-giving.
So it is this church that we strive to live out in our marriage, in our life, every day. Trying to, like Father Mike said, have a mutual self-giving of one another, 100%. Trying to get each other, I would say our kids, into heaven, that being our vocation. How is it that we try to live that out? By loving each other like God loves us, by making sure we have date nights, even if it's at 10 o'clock after 11 o'clock, or 11-year-old decides to go to bed finally, to make sure that we pause for our relationship. So we have that time.
Can you say what we're doing?
Yeah, so we've been having Thursday night date nights since we were dating, actually. It was in grad school. I was going through grad school and working full-time, which meant that I worked 3 16-hour days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then went to school the rest of the week. So we were dating, and Meredith really missed me on the weekends. So we decided that we would have Thursday night date nights, and we've been doing that ever since. So even if it's just ordering out or making sure that, we have dinner for the kids by themselves, and then we have dinner by ourselves. So that's the Thursday night date night. So 16 plus years now, I guess. So I think it can get very busy, right? So I think another way in which we make sure that we listen to one another is by stopping at the end of long days and being able to hear what's going on. And we've been having crazy work experiences for the last 6 months, and really understanding that it is by talking to one another that we can support each other, that my challenges at work are not just mine, but that Meredith shares them, that the challenges that she faces at work, I share in that as well, that we can problem solve those issues together. That it's not her work and my work, but that it's our life together. Making sure that we try to text each other during the day, even if it's...
It's Thursday.
Thursday! Yeah! That's the usual text all throughout the day on Thursday. And it is taking care of our church, our little church, our sacramental marriage between the both of us, that we can also then take care of the bigger church and the community at large, our family, and making sure that we can share the possibilities of our sacrament with others. But it can be an external sign through receiving communion together. That's something that we do sometimes. Making sure that we sit together at church instead of with the 3 kids in between us. It is in that way that we can also share that outward sign of God's love with the world around us.
And I think we try to then bring that into our family life. So as a family, we really try to be sensitive to each person's needs within our family, because we see more and more every day how individually unique each person in our family is, all 5 of us. Each child is completely different, and every day becomes more different, not more similar. Have you guys had that experience? Yeah, so really trying to recognize their uniqueness and listen to them to understand what they need. Helping them to feel loved and cared for. And I don't know if anyone's familiar with the 5 love languages, but it's not just about us expressing our love, but it's making sure that they feel loved and understanding that they might feel it a very different way than we're trying to express it. So understanding how each child interprets and feels loved. Caring for others is something we really try to model for our children and include our children in. So whether it's reaching out to somebody, we had friends of a classmate, their father was deployed for a time, reaching out to the mom, making sure she's doing okay, checking in with her, saying, how are you, do you need anything? Going out and snowplowing the neighbor's driveway when we know they're out of town and it needs to be done, and making that example to our children. They're very little ordinary things, but they're things that can really show God's love and how we express that in our little church. When we have family members that are struggling with things, taking time to make that the priority and understanding that this is why this sibling is going to be a priority right now, maybe my sibling, maybe Fitz's sibling, but taking care of others around us, talking about the needs, supporting the mission work within our church, supporting the efforts that are happening all around our world to help people in need, making that a real conversation with us, within our family. And also co-teaching CCD. Felix and I have co-taught CCD for the last 2 years. It's been a real joy. For those of you who are looking for a way to minister together, consider teaching CCD together. It is such a great experience to share that, to prepare classes together, to be in the classroom together, to see how the children respond to us together as a couple in the classroom. Last year we taught kindergarten for our son's class, which was a hoot. They were so much fun. We got them singing Alleluia every time before we read the gospel, and our 4th grade class this year is a little more reluctant to sing Alleluia with us, but we're still working on it. Last time we told them we weren't going to read the gospel until they all sang it, and they actually sang along. And when we do 4th grade CCD this year, we have to bring our 6th grader along with us, so now she's sort of co-teaching with us. Part of the reason why she's like, do we have to go to church today? But, you know, we all go through it. So she's there to help us out and support that as well. But these are all ordinary things. There's nothing extraordinary that I'm sharing with you. There's nothing remarkable that I think we are doing in our daily lives, but it's ordinary stuff. This is a vanilla ice cream cone. It's not a hot fudge sundae. There's no fancy toppings. But what happens is that we are open to God's love in our marriage. We're open to sharing God's love with our children. We're open to sharing God's love with our people in our parish and the folks that we are meeting. It's those essential pieces of sharing our sacramental marriage with others that I think makes for a truly remarkable experience and really shows God's presence through us to everyone that we meet. And that's what we really try to do with our little church. So when we're open to God working with us, truly amazing things do happen. A priest in our former parish when we were in Massachusetts commented to us once about how our youngest son, Andrew, is one of the first people who he knew who truly never missed a Sunday Mass. Because I was pregnant one week, and the next Sunday he was in our arms. And this was probably a year or two later that he mentioned this to us. And for us, it was just our regular weekly attendance. But us not missing Mass the week our son was born meant a lot to the parish priest, who noticed we were there, who noticed that it was important enough for us to make it to church with our 2-day, 3-day-old infant the day after we got out of the hospital, I think, that we were there. So it wasn't just our attendance, but also how our priest felt, what that meant to us and how that meant to him. So it's just amazing to sort of see how that plays out. Our little church, again, being open to God's presence and then shared with others.
And, you know, there are a couple other silly parts of this whole thing. I remember our second, who's now 9, probably when she was, 3 or 4. We were at church and you know, kneeling, the priest raises the wine and the blood of Christ, the body of Christ, and I tell her, we're both kneeling, and I said, see, that's Jesus. And she looks at me, that's silly. And I said, yeah, it is silly, but that's Jesus. And you know, and it is in being able to accept her faith, and it is able to accept her as she is, that really brings, you know, these concepts of sacrament, of church, into a very real way, in a very connected way. That it is kind of silly to think that Jesus is there in this piece of bread and piece of wine, but it is that developmental piece of being able to really hear her faith in a daily life. in a daily way.
And she's the one who was very upset that we moved from Massachusetts the year we did because she was ready for her first communion in 2nd grade.
Oh, yeah.
And we moved up, and then the parishes knew us didn't do it until 3rd grade. So she's the one, actually, after all those years, that she was so disappointed she had to wait an extra year to make her first communion.
And I do have to say that some of this also comes with some challenge. I think that it was around that time also that we were at Mass, and Meredith looks at me and she says, there better be a God, because we're coming to Mass every day, every week with these kids. And I said, well, yes, there better be a God, right? But it takes effort, and it takes passion to continue doing this and living our life in the way that we can, with that vocation that we have felt to one another.
Just on that same thought, sort of when we have certainly experienced as a young family, when you feel like everybody's staring at you in church because your kids are being kids, and you're there and you're committed to being there with your young family because you want your children to experience church. You want your children to have that ritual, the tradition, the experience of belonging. And you feel like everyone's staring at you, and you feel like everybody's looking at you, keep your kid quiet, why isn't your kid sitting well, why isn't your kid behaving? And you have someone turn at you at the end of Mass and say, it's so good to have you here. Or in our parish, have the priest in the middle of Mass say, isn't it great to hear the children? Because they are the ones who make us know our church is alive and well. And it's that acceptance that I think all of us can help keep in mind, because the judgment that you feel when you bring children to church is real. And it's hard. It's really hard to have little children in the pew. It's really hard to have big children in the pew. So if we as couples can give other couples the sign that we see them, we see their presence, we value their presence, we welcome their presence, and we welcome their children, I think that's something that we can all do to make everybody feel comfortable and share God's love further. So we wanted to give you a moment just to think and to talk with each other, because you've heard us talk long enough, to see if you could think of maybe 1 or 2 examples in your marriage when you experienced little church, or when you feel like you shared God's love from your little church to another. So we just want to give you a moment to talk to each other instead of listening to us.
And not among the
Not among people, just as a couple. When did you experience God's love in your little church?
Started doing music and playing the instrument. When Scott decided to be a altar boy, when Israel went into phase, he didn't want to go
So you can continue your discussion a little later. We just wanted to give you a chance to touch base. Don't get carried away. We don't want you to start talking for too long.
1 or 2 examples.
There's one other piece that we want to share with you before we pass on the mic to Dave and Karen, our dear friends. What we have learned along our 14 years of marriage here is that no matter how good things can be, there are also times when there are challenges. There are times when there's great joy. And all of that is better when shared with other great couples. And that other great couples have helped to give us such deep perspective on our life. We've been blessed to learn from so many other couples around us. They'll say that, we learn a lot from our parents and our siblings' relationships or other friends, but sometimes those relationships around us aren't ones we want to imitate. Sometimes there are pieces that we want to take, but sometimes we need other examples around to inspire us. Sometimes we need other examples to challenge us. And so it's important for us to recognize that there are couples out there who can inspire us. There are couples out there who will support us when we're struggling. There are couples out there who inspire us when we need inspiration the most. So we do firmly believe, our experience has been that our strength as a couple comes in journeying with others. Because we can't do this on our own. We can't do this in isolation. We do it with many other wonderful couples around us. We remember a long time ago now, in New York actually, when we lived there, a couple, Bob and Josette, and we went to visit them, and we're staying at their home and talking about, we hadn't even bought our first house yet, and it seemed so impossible, and it's so much money, and we can't possibly do that, and didn't Bob look at Faye and go, sometimes you just have to pull that trigger, and you gotta make the decision and go buy the house, right? And so that's sort of, okay, maybe we can do this. Maybe we can make this happen. And it's because they were in a different time of their life. They had different experiences before them that we could really learn from. We were talking with our friends Bob and Dejana, who some of you know who couldn't be here tonight, but we knew them before we moved up to New Hampshire. And one day before we moved here, we actually went up to St. Mark's, went to Mass, and went out to breakfast with Bob and Dejana and talked with them about, is Londonderry the place where we should go? Is this a good thing or a bad thing? And having that couple who had lived there before to help us through that process was tremendous as well.
And as Father Mike had mentioned, our marriage and our sacrament is also lived out in service to others. In the same way that we have been helped, we have been able to help others, be it, for example, when my sister, for example, lived with us for some time, or perhaps as another family member that we reach out to, another couple who might be sick, for example, and we send a care package, or also when we had a good couple friend of ours, and he passed away, and we visited her, and we have continued the relationship with her and her family, making sure that we comfort her and let her know that we continue thinking about her and him and their family. It is through all these examples that we're able to bring God's love into the world through our marriage, through our family, in tangible ways that it makes God not an invisible being, but one that is tangible and that can be seen in everyday life.
So I guess the message that we would like to leave with you is that we do not need to travel alone. We don't need to travel alone as individuals, which is why we've entered into our sacraments of marriage, so that we can journey together as couples. But we don't even need to journey alone as a couple. We really can travel as a community, as a parish of couples. And we can extend our little church of 2 and of 5 into a bigger church, and into a bigger church through our church community here, and extend it further into the entire parish community. And then continue to expand our love and expand our sacrament of marriage beyond our parishes, and into our workplaces, and into our towns, and into our communities. Because we really believe that we can spread our couple love into a lot of places, and to connect our couple love really can change the world. That's our message for you.